Okay, let's go.
All right, this is the Rockcastle Exploring River Bypass. All right, we got Camp Wildcat Battlefield. So let's turn in here and check it out. We got a little parking area here, some restrooms. And it did say no parking after dark, so they will close this at dark. Let's go see what some of these signs say. All right, I got the sun all over me here, so I'm not sure how well this is going to come out. 4 miles of trails, it says. Got Hoosier Knob, Infantry Ridge, Private Lewis McFerrin Trail, and the Robinson Spring Trail. So yeah, here we are right here. And you see there's one cannon placement. Got some benches. It's a pretty long trail system. Some more benches here. Then a rifle pit. Another cannon placement. And that looks like it's about it. Of course, private land in there. Another part of the battlefield over here with Robinson Spring. Should be a freshwater spring. There's a river here. It says you do not cross the river. You got a couple more cannon placements down here. So this was a pretty, I guess, a pretty big battlefield here. We're going to see what else we can see over this way. All right, no horses or motorized vehicles. Hoosier Knob interactive trail, 3/4 of a mile. So the trail doesn't start for at least 3/4 of a mile. You guys can pause this if you want to read it. Yeah, so it basically just shows troop placements. Kentucky was neutral during the Civil War. And both sides, basically what this is saying is both sides agreed to respect their neutrality and not enter their borders. And both of them did anyway. So on September 19th, Confederate forces destroyed a Union recruiting camp near Bourbonville, Kentucky. And this is where they were placed at. We had some Confederates here and here and here. And then Union forces here and here. Pretty cool. And this one here is basically just telling this was the site of the first shots fired in the Civil War in Kentucky. And once again, if you want to read this, you can pause it. Basically, I'll get to the gist of it. This is basically showing other battles that happened, around Kentucky or after the main battle that we showed you on the last plaque over there. Over here, let's see what we got here. This one's going to be a little hard to see because the sun is not really allowing my camera to focus. But this one's basically just showing losses and wounded. More Union troops arriving. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to read these or not. This one basically said the battle heats up, the Confederates attack, and Confederate artillery opens fire. And this is like I guess a drawing of the battlefield down there. Then we got a Wildcat battle map here. See if If we can get the focus a little better. All right, so here's the legend. Pretty cool stuff. That'll be for breakfast. The Confederates advanced on Camp Wildcat in the pre-dawn darkness of October 21st. Armies on the move. October 16th, Confederate General Felix Zollicoffer ordered his soldiers to strike at Camp Wildcat. More than 4,750 men marched from Cumberland Ford toward the Union encampment 50 miles away. Yeah, you try to get people to march 50 miles now. So basically, this is talking about Kentucky starting to get its volunteer infantry under training. 975 soldiers. Camp Dick Robinson. All right. Pretty cool little area. Let's see what we got here. All right, well, this is the artillery that was used at Camp Wildcat. A model 1841 6-pounder. Here we go. Then they also had the 1857 Napoleon 12-pounders. And the battery, let's see here. 6 cannons, over 100 men. That's what they consider a battery. Here's, I guess, a little drawing of the specs of the cannon. Colonel in charge. Come and take it. Looks like they welded a cannonball into the end of it. Probably didn't want anybody sticking their arm in there and get it stuck. You see there's walking trails everywhere. This is definitely mountainous terrain. And so imagine being back in the Civil War, not having any motorized vehicles, having to fight through all this terrain. Some pretty steep hills going on through here. All right, let's get back to the trail. There's 2 old timers were parked in front of something up here, and I want to get back and see what it was. It looked like it was a gravestone. Just one though. I didn't see like a bunch of them or anything. So maybe it's either a mass grave or someone important. So let's get back and see who it was. Looked like they were putting flowers and a wreath on it, so must be an old family member or something like that. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it looks like it's basically a mass grave. Let's see here. Yeah, it's basically for all the soldiers lost. All right, let's get back to the trail. See what else is down here. Respect. All right. Let's see, we got another trail that heads off this way. Let me see where that goes. All right, well, I found an old wooden sign here that can be barely read. This is, to go down this little narrow road here is Shelto Tree Trace, Rockcastle River, and I-75. And then back the way we came, it's saying 5, but I believe it's supposed to say 25, because that's what it came off of back there. So let's see what's going on. Oh, got my finger in the way. Putting it back up on this mount. This might get a little fishy down through here. Let's find out. Yeah, I'd still say this is a 1, not a 0, because it's not paved, not gravel. It's some type of heavy sand. You got a little mud pit up here. So this is probably where the fun begins for a lot of people. I haven't had to put it in 4-wheel drive yet, so let's see what the Willies can do in 2-wheel drive. Yeah. Oh yeah. Got a little bit of obstacles here, some pretty big boulders sticking up out of the ground. Driving me off camber a little bit. I think that's right, off camber. Hell, I don't know. Now we got another little road up here. This could be like a campsite or something, maybe. No, because all this is closed after dark. Still in 2-wheel drive. And it actually looks like a little campsite. I thought it said everything here was closed after dark, but maybe it was just that the Civil War battlefield park back there. And then I guess if you really want to have some fun, here's a, looks like an off-road path straight up the mountain there. But like I said, we're focusing on beginners and beginner trails with this channel, so we're not going to go up that. I did Brown Bear Mountain in North Carolina, which is kind of like what that is right there, kind of like straight up a mountain. But we're going to go ahead and turn around and get back on the main trail back out here. Let's see where it goes. Believe it or not, Onyx does not have a whole lot of info on this trail. I don't even know if it shows this or that little trail there going up the hill. Maybe it's private, I don't know. Still haven't used 4-wheel drive yet. They might have put that in there as a turnaround. Looks like we got some little mud holes up here. Tread lightly, my friends. Oh boy. That one was a little deep. Probably about 12 to 16 inches. Did get some rain a couple days ago here in Kentucky, so that's gonna make things a little fun. Got some more mud here. I'd say now we're probably getting into like a 2-3. I would say any of your unibodies, SUVs that just came out not too long ago, to basically give each one of the manufacturers like an off-road type vehicle. You got like the Outbacks, and Hyundai came out with one, and a couple other manufacturers came out with a couple small SUVs designed, or they advertise as off-road. So again, we got a little mud pit here. It's about, I'd say, 15 feet long. Doesn't seem to be too deep. Got through it without a problem. Got another one up here. And you gotta be careful, I'm out here by myself, so I'm not just like running through these things because I don't know how deep they are. And the last thing that you want to do when you're by yourself is get stuck. So both of those were fine, probably about 10 to 12 inches deep. Got another little trail here that runs off to the right. It might even be another one of those little turnaround spots. Let's see if we can't get some angles outside the Jeep. Pick this thing up off my phone holder. Getting pretty narrow through here, so if you don't like a little bit of road rash on your Jeep or your vehicle, you might not want to come through here. Couple high boulders here in the center. I can get over them with no problem. I believe the 2021 Willys has 10.5 inches of ground clearance, and then the Rubicon was 11 point something, so I'm not 100% sure. Another turnaround here, and it looks like they're putting them in kind of frequently. That could be a hunting trail or something like that, although I did see no hunting back there, so I have no idea what that is. Could just be a forest trail or something. I forget what they call them. And you can see up here, try to zoom in on this a little bit. There were some boulders and stuff in the middle of the road that was really low compared to the one I passed over a little bit ago. Let's see here. That one's gonna not be a problem at all for this Jeep. I'll just straddle it, no problem. Like I said, I will make a video that tells a little bit about my Jeep. All right, we got some mud here. This isn't water, this is actually mud. I'm still in two-wheel drive. Went right through it without a problem. So, like I said, 2-3, something like that on this trail right now. Starting to get some incline here. Might need four-wheel drive here soon. Usually when you start climbing, you start needing the The extra oomph from the four-wheel drive, extra traction. Passing over another boulder here. Still no problem for two-wheel drive. All right, now we're getting a little more technical. We have a boulder out here, so let's switch to outside again. Get this thing off the mount. All right, I want to try to make it so you guys can see this as I go up. Is it still in two-wheel drive? You can see here, you gotta get one tire up on this rock and one tire up on the dirt. Not a problem. I would recommend good tires. I got my WF Goodrich mud terrains on here. That's what it came with. That's what I keep on it. Get this thing back in the mount. All right. This is a fun little trail so far. Nothing too technical, too difficult. All right, I just went through the most difficult part there so far, and I couldn't film it because there was a hiker there, and it was a female. And the last thing that I want is, you know, be accused of filming somebody or something. So we're getting some pretty bad ruts up here right now. So it looks like there's some bypasses here to get around some of this stuff. I'm still in two-wheel drive, so. But this is starting to get what looks like a little more challenging here. These are mud holes getting a little deeper. We're gonna give this one a little gas, get through. Still in two-wheel drive. And then there we go. So there's a bypass here on the left. And then there's a deep mud hole there. I could tell that one's deep. That one's probably, I don't know, a foot and a half, 2 feet, something like that over there. So, like I said, I'm by myself, not messing with it. All right, we got our first scenic overlook here. So let me get this thing out of the road. And I'll try to get a little bit of a idea of what the trail looked like so far. All right, get this shot here. Get my fingers out of the way. There you go. All right, so as you can see on the Jeep, the water and the mud has not got up to the rock guards here on the side yet. So we are still not really too deep. So like I said, not too technical. All right, let me see if I can't switch this around. So that's what all we just came through right there. Like I said, I'm saying it's a 1-2, but you really got to watch those mud holes. Because like this one right here, I'm telling you, I guarantee you that's at least 2 feet. And who knows what's on the bottom. You can tell by the drop off over here that it is, it's pretty deep. And this is what I saw here, so I was like, I don't know. You know, like I said, when you're out here by yourself, you can't play around too much. Just that drop off right there is 12 inches. So, and you can see where people have been burning rubber on it to try to get back up it. So we're gonna hop back in and continue the trail. If it starts getting to where I think it's more than a 4, I will stop and turn around because like I said, I'm not doing this for the professional off-roaders out there. I'm doing this for all the new people. And you can see we got some cool little rock ledges and stuff in here. Yeah, that's a 12-inch climb. So if you don't have ground clearance, just bypass it, you know. But that's the cool thing about this trail so far is it does have those bypasses in there. In case you don't want to go through the mud or get stuck. A couple of those mud holes back there had no bypasses, but they weren't that deep. And I guess that's, I don't know who does that, if it's the forest rangers or whatever that do all that, the rangery service or the county or whoever. But somebody looks like they go out of their way to make sure everything's kind of safe. All right, so as you can see, we're booting up here. We're still in two-wheel drive high. Let's get our fun stuff up here. So we're level front to back, and it looks like we're leaning to the right by 1 degree. It's kind of neat stuff that they put in these Willys and the Rubicons. I'm not sure if you can get that in the Sport, but I guess you can because technically the Willy is a Sport. All right, back up on the holder and let's continue. So we're going to drive up this rock because we think that's fun. And no challenge at all for the, I think there are 32-inch mud terrains that are on this. Now my feet are a little slippery now from stepping in the mud. Looks like they've been cutting on the left side a little bit to widen it. And I'm glad they did because I probably only have about a foot extra between the right side and the left side together. Widen up a little bit here again. This is one of the best things about Kentucky. And you know, I'm so surprised that the governor and the legislative team and all here has not, you know, tried to get more of the off-road community in here. Okay, now this is the point where I would say you're getting into a 3-4, and this is where, I mean, you would still be able to get through here with your little, you know, like your little SUVs, like your Trailhawks and stuff like that. And let's give you a little bit of an idea. I'm just now starting to go over this obstacle. And I'm going down by 3 degrees and I'm leaning right by 11. Nowhere near the danger zone yet. We had 2 wheels up in the air right there. And I don't know if you heard or not, we had a little bit of spinning. But the traction control found out right away and was like, okay, let's stop this from going on. All right, we got another little obstacle here. See if I can get a better shot out here from it. Couple rocks, boulders, whatever you want to call them. A little higher than I'd probably feel comfortable with a smaller SUV. My phone here, wasn't holding my phone there. You know, we're still in 2-wheel drive, still having a good time. Not in anything too technically difficult yet. Just giving her a little bit of pump on the gas and letting the weight of the vehicle do most of the stuff for us. Let's get another shot here. We're now at 9 degree down pitch and 1 degree roll. Let's see what we can get a look at out here. Alrighty. Oh, let's get this back in the phone holder. Even though I got this thing in a phone holder, it's not holding it 100% still. It's bouncing around quite a bit, so I do apologize for that. Hopefully the stability control is taking care of a lot of that. It is just a Motorola cell phone that I'm recording this on. Another little rock obstacle right here, no problem. You know, your Cherokees and what are some of the newer ones that came out? Bronco Sports. Vehicles like that have no problem back here, I don't think. Gotta be willing to put some scratches in the paint though. And like I said, good tires is gonna make the big difference. Like, you don't need 35s or whatever out here. Actually, I think the size on these are 33s. But you don't need nothing big out here. At least not yet. We're gonna find out as we get down through here. I'm pretty sure the OnX app rated this at a 4. So, you know, I don't know if the stuff back there is what they considered a 4, or, you know, there's something ahead that I haven't seen yet. And you can hear we are getting some branches against the paint on the sides of the vehicle. But, you know, if you're buying something to hit the trails with, you got to expect that. You're going to get a little love from the branches. This one, when it was purchased, had an extra coating on it. So let's see if I can remember what that was called. I'm rolling the window. All right, it was called permaplate. And it was something that was applied at the dealer to the paint on the outside and to the cloth on the interior. And I called permaplate to try to find out some information. They, of course, didn't have an active policy on this Wrangler anymore, because it's over 3 years old now. Well, I guess it's right around 3 years old. And I think that their policies only go for 3 years. All right, we're actually climbing over an obstacle right now where we're leaning to the right, which is towards the cliff. So if you're scared of heights, that might be a little bit of an issue for you. Going through another little mud hole here. I knew that one was shallow. I could see the bottom, so I just went right through it, no problem. Like I said, still in two-wheel drive. So any four-wheel drive vehicle that has at least a little bit of ground clearance, I'd say 8 inches or so, should be able to get through this without an issue. Now, one thing you have to note is some of these areas, if you get to it and you can't get through the obstacle or don't feel safe doing it, there's not a whole lot of places where you can turn around. So you might have to make your own. I've had to do it before. Like right here, I could probably back about halfway up that hill and be able to turn this Jeep around without a problem. We're slipping quite a bit coming down that hill. I wasn't using I forget what they call it, where the Jeep takes over the downgrade. Hell, I can't remember. Hill descent control, I believe they call it. I'm new to all this technology stuff in these Jeeps. This is my first newer one. I've always had, you know, TJs and YJs and CJs. So I'm just now getting used to having some technology. Gonna go right through this one. Still in two-wheel drive. Oh boy, we got some fallen trees here. It looks like somebody's already cut them. And along the way, there are some obstacles on the left and right hand side that you can go up. Just where we passed that big rock back there, there was a nice steep climb. So I'm sure you could probably have a little bit of fun there. We're gonna pull this off the mount, go out here and take a look at what we got going on out here. See, we got some rocks here. And some of these rocks got some sharp edges on them. So like I said, tires. And like I also said, this thing is 100 bone stock from the way it came from the factory. All right, we might need four-wheel drive on this one. This is an incline while going over boulders. So let's see what we got. We'll give the two-wheel drive a chance to actually work and see what it can do. So far, so good. I honestly cannot believe this thing is still in two-wheel drive, because some of these boulders are pretty high and we're going uphill. well, I should have bumped that one a little bit, so we're gonna pull back just a tiny bit. We're gonna bump it and see if two-wheel drive will still get up it. There we go. All right. I heard a little bit of something hit there. Plate, or it might have been the rear, I don't know. Something bumped a little bit. No cell phone service out here either, so don't break anything, especially if you're alone. That one was a little deep, but it was a shorty. Just remember, you know, off-roading is not a race. There might be a 8-mile trail and it might take you all day to get down it. You know, I'm 49 years old and I've been off-roading since I got my first Jeep when I was 17. And, you know, we didn't have all of this boulder climbing and all that stuff to have fun. We just went out and hit the trails and went through some mud holes and, you know, had some fun. We didn't have all this, you know, 38-inch tires and 37-inch tires. Hell, I think you were lucky if you had 32s back then. I have no idea how much further this trail goes. Because I don't have the OnX app open. All right, so once again, we got what I consider what probably is a deep mud hole right there. So I'm going around it, and actually I think I went through the deeper part of it instead of the shallower part. When you come to one of these mud holes, you can see sometimes how they get deeper and shallower. Like I kept two of my wheels up on the ground as I went through that. So let's take a little break here for a second. And we're gonna go through and see how the vehicle's doing as far as temperatures. Oil temp is really good. Trans temp is good. Cooling temp is good. Tires are all good. All right, all right, all right. It's getting sandy again through here. So basically unpacked sand. Get another little climb coming where it looks like it's getting into rocks again. All right, so now we got some dips on an incline. Still in two-wheel drive, as you can see. Let's see if I can get it down in there. There you go. Two-wheel drive. Get this thing back on the holder. And here's one of the parts that I'm talking about. Like, this is the easy side I'm going up. That right there is pretty steep. That's about shoulder height with me right now is where I'm sitting at in the vehicle. So yeah, that's a pretty good obstacle. I mean, I don't think this would have any problem going up it, but I would definitely need four-wheel drive. But you know what? For S&Gs, if you know what that means, we're gonna see if this will go up in two-wheel drive. which I'm very seriously doubting, but let's, just for, like I said, S&Gs. Let's see what we got. This is where that approach angle comes into play. All right, it will not go up in two-wheel drive. I just wanted to try it. All right, just for side note, S&Gs, it did not make it up in two-wheel drive. Did attempt it in four-wheel drive. There we go. That gives you a little bit better of an idea of how steep that is. All right. I was getting some snapshots there. Once again, it's getting a little technical in here. It's not something you want to just drive through without taking any caution at all. We are still in two-wheel drive. The reason why I wanted to check the temps back there was because being in two-wheel drive, you are putting the transmission probably under a little more strain because you're putting a lot more spin on the torque converter and stuff. It needs more power. All right, we got a little bit of spin in there. We're gonna back up a little bit and try to bump it. Yep, got right up it. And you can hear them back tires spinning, and the traction control, you can feel it. It's even in two-wheel drive, it is forcing that tire that's spinning to stop and giving traction to the one that's got it, or giving power to the one that's got traction. Like I said, I don't edit my videos. These are all raw and uncut. But if you do see points where it looks like the video was cut, it wasn't. I just had to stop it for some reason and restart it. It's not a cut in the video at all. Like if I see people walking down the trail or another vehicle, like I said, I'll stop it because a lot of people don't want to be filmed. So that's the reason. Going right up all these rock walls here and rock cliffs without using four-wheel drive. Got another little turnaround there on the left. Fallen tree on the right. Some Bud Light cans. You want to see them on pretty much any trail nowadays. People don't respect them anymore. All right, we have been doing this for probably about an hour or so now, and I don't have that much more time today, so I'm going to turn this thing around and start going the other way, just so I can make sure that I get to where I'm going on time. I would imagine the rest of this trail is probably about what it is here, maybe just a little harder. But what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in four-wheel drive high. All right, we're in 4 high. See there, 4 high. And then we're gonna do some work with the hill descent control, just to show you guys how to use it if you have it. I think they started using it in the JKs back in like maybe even as far as 2007. So we're gonna turn that on, and then basically it's this little button right here that looks like a car going down a hill with a speedometer. So we're gonna push that, wait for it to go solid. Okay, well, it looks like hill descent control doesn't want to work unless you're in 4 low. So it's just telling me auto park is disabled, Traction control is now disabled, or stability control, sorry about that. And then we're gonna try this again. Hill descent. Let's see, and it gives us basically a way to adjust it, and you got to put it down into the manual mode on your shifter here, and you're gonna, you know, go up, of course, for making the speed go higher, and you're down for making it lower. And you can see over here in the corner, it's showing you the little hill descent control icon, and it says right now we're at 0.6 miles per hour, and this thing will hold 0.6, or you can press up on the shifter, I'm sorry, down, which is the plus, and it goes to 1.2 miles per hour. The lowest you can go is 0.6 miles per hour, and it goes in 0.6 mile per hour increments. And we're just going to let it climb back down this hill that we just went up all by itself. And you can hear the, I don't know if you can hear, it's the power brake system or ABS system working. And it's just doing all the work for you. Most vehicles that are, you know, revolving around off-roading or going out on the trails from most manufacturers have some type of control like this now. It's just doing all the work for me. Back in the day, people only wanted, you know, stick shifts so they can keep it locked in first. You know, and of course everybody complained about automatics because you had to ride the brakes going down all these things. Now, I mean, you don't have to have a stick shift to have fun anymore, or, you know, go down the hills as slow as you want. The vehicle does it all for you. All right, you can see we're down from the obstacle, and that is the obstacle right there that we just went down. And we're going to stop now because we don't need 4 low. So we're going to put it back into neutral. We've got to get it over to drive, put it up into neutral. Get her back up into 4-wheel drive. All right, we are in too high. Pushed it a little too far. There we go. Back into 4 high. I'm still getting used to this shifter system. It's a lot different than the old style where you just pulled it back. This one, you got to know exactly when to push it left or right or whatever. But it's still a very, very good system. All right, so we are back in 4 high. And the stability or the hill descent control automatically turns itself off when you get into 4 high. And we didn't need, you know, anything but 2-wheel drive to get to where we're at now. But we're just putting it in 4 high now, just for S&Gs, going back, shits and giggles. This is now a non-family friendly video. The difference is now is we're riding the brakes going down, which requires me to do the work instead of the vehicle. Still, you know, just as easy, but it can pick up speed quite quickly if you don't use the brakes properly. So if you were to let go on one of these big rocks and not know exactly where to have that brake pedal, you could start rolling really quick and do some damage pretty quickly to your vehicle. So we're gonna let it go over this hump a little slow. We're riding the brake. And there we go. We slid down the last part of it there. And let's see here. We are at 14 degrees pitch and 2 degrees roll. Here's our obstacle. No problem. Just back in the phone holder. Probably went down that one a little faster than I should have. There's a pointy little rock sticking up here. You gotta watch out for stuff like that. If you have a rock that's pointing up too high and you roll underneath of it with your transmission or something like that, you could potentially damage the transmission or one of the axles or something like that. All right, I stopped the video there. Took the opportunity to actually get out and check my drive line, transmission and stuff like that, transfer case, because of that little bump that I had on that rock. And it was definitely somewhere underneath in the middle. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't leaking any fluids to where I might have to get the heck out of here before I ran dry. Everything looked good. I didn't see any leaks. It wasn't a very hard bump, but it was still enough to crack something, I think. And if you do have a four-wheel drive vehicle and you don't use a four-wheel drive much, every once in a while it's a good idea to put it in four-wheel drive and just pull it forwards and backwards a couple of times to try to get everything moving around. Okay, so now we're coming back to the mud hole that we went through earlier. And like I said, I did not go through the middle of it. I went around kind of on the sides. And we're gonna do the same thing again. I am not out here to get stuck today. I have to call a tow truck out here. With four-wheel drive, I did take it slower, so. And this is the one where I went to on the right here, thinking it was gonna be easier, and it was actually harder, so we're taking the harder path again. The tires didn't even spin going through there. These mud terrains from Firestone are actually excellent tires. They're probably some of the best tires I've ever had on a Jeep. And there'll be a little story video about me here soon. I've been driving Jeeps since I was 17. I probably did mention that earlier in the video, but I just wanted to make sure it was in the video. I've been driving only Jeep Wranglers since the day I turned 17. This is a fun little trail. Like I said, it definitely deserves its 4 rating now because of the mud pits and stuff like that. The rock walls back there we were climbing. And like I said, it probably does get a little more difficult going down through there. But we're gonna cut the video because you guys have seen all of this. We've done it all. And then when I get back out to the beginning of the trail, I'll give you guys a little conclusion on what I think about the trail. You know, maybe some pointers on what vehicles might need and what vehicles might actually be able to do this trail stock without any issues. Going through our last mud hole here, and I will talk to you guys in a few minutes, probably more like 40 minutes to get back to where we started. And I will see you guys then. So this point of the trail is what I consider truth or dare. So over here where I'm sitting is truth. It's just a nice dry road. And then over here you got dare, which is what looks to me a pretty deep mud hole. I'd say 2 to 3 feet. I'm not exactly sure what the bottom is like on it, or if it's mud or rocks or whatever, but if you're out here alone, do not attempt to go through that by yourself unless you you have some type of winch or some type of pulley system to get you out.
This was filmed back in early December. I finally got it posted now. I finally had the time to do it. Just wanted to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.